Personal and public worlds determine how a person interacts and how humans have experiences in society. It also shows how the public eye can damage both public and private worlds. There are many ways people can experience these public and private worlds, while having many different outcomes. John Proctor in The Crucible keeps his public and private worlds very close as to keep his name pure in the town of Salem and its society. Porphyria's lover gets so jealous and angry at his partner for publicly going out and partying without him, he kills her so that he can have her attention privately forever. Commodus in Gladiator is so hungry for power in the public world that he kills his father and doesn't tell anyone about it to better his own image. By exploring both these worlds in the collection of texts, an understanding of how worlds are represented and how human experiences impact them can be created. John Proctor in The Crucible kept his public and private worlds very close as to keep his name pure in the town of Salem and its community. John Proctor is a man whose name isn't always associated with good. He often struggles with the weight of sin that he has committed. But when faced with being charged with witchcraft in the town court, he stands up for the truth. John stands up for the truth because his image is known in Salem is extremely important to him. He is a man that needs to show how both his private world and public world are both honest and mirrored. This is because he thinks it makes him a good person, and that's all he wants to be. As John Proctor is being forced to sign a piece of paper to say he conducts witchcraft, he cannot go through. He stops and he yells, "I do think I see some goodness in John Proctor. Not enough to wear a banner, but white enough to keep it from such dogs." John Proctor is saying what he has done wrong. He has lied, cheated, and committed sin, but he cannot nail his name to lies anymore. His public name means more to him than his life. He is hung not for witchcraft, but for keeping his name pure in the eyes of Salem Village, and keeping his name pure in his public and private worlds. John's worlds are kept hand in hand, but sometimes people's public worlds can be too much for others to handle. In Porphyria's lover, her lover gets very angry at his partner for going out in her public life and partying, while he is at home all alone. He wants her all to himself. He wants her to be exclusive because he fears she might not love him in the same manner if it becomes difficult for her to face the normalities of the public society. This fear makes him nervous and shows how a common human experience and how anger and fear can damage both public and private lives. He kills her not for revenge or for the wrong she could have done to him, but so her public world is gone and now his private world is complete. She is now his forever. In the poem, it states, "Happy and proud, at last I knew, Porphyria worshipped me. Surprise made my heart swell, and still it grew, while I debated what to do." This poem, much like Browning's work, conflates sex, violence, and aesthetics. Browning was trying to explore the boundaries of human experience in Victorian times, when things like sex were not seen as appropriate to talk about, let alone write about. When Porphyria's lover comes home, he has the attention of his lover and her public world is gone, which what makes him happy. The thought of her leaving again is overwhelming, showing how his emotions got the better of him, and how he would rather have a perfect private world than a living Porphyria. Porphyria's lover is a type of person who only thinks for himself and their own private worlds, just like Commodus does when his need for power in the public world overpowers his rational thinking. Commodus in the movie Gladiator is so hungry for power in the broader Roman society world that he kills his own father and keeps it a secret from the public to better his own image. In the movie Gladiator, Commodus is left powerless and angry after his father tells him that he will not be the next emperor of Rome. Being powerless is an experience of a child, as they are not adults and they need to be cared for. This experience angers Commodus and drives him to damage his private life to the betterment of his public image. Commodus always wanted to be the leader and felt entitled to be the emperor of Rome, because his father was emperor. He thought the title would make him strong and powerful. When his ambition to be emperor are squashed, anger overcomes him, and he kills his father, so that no one will know that Commodus should have not been emperor. Now in Emperor Commodus' public world, he acts tough and puts on a persona of being ruthless and mean. But in his private life, he is a soft, alpha male who knows in his private world that he has never lived up to his father's expectations. He is soft and childish, and this is shown through the stage directions. Marcus is kneeling. Commodus presses his father tightly against his body, smothering him. As Marcus struggles to be free, he fails. All the while, Commodus cries and moans in pain, as though a child. Even while killing his own father, Commodus shows he is a childish man by thinking irrationally about needing his public world, showing that major diversity between his private and public world, and how emotions can play a key role in determining how his worlds were represented. As it is easily seen, anger and the need for power can majorly affect the public and private worlds. Private and public worlds make up most of everyday life, as do human experiences. Some people keep their worlds close together, just as John Proctor did to keep his image good in the village of Salem, even though this led to his death and much anger. Unlike John, some people live very different public and private worlds, and human experiences play a huge part in impacting and damaging both worlds. Porphyrius Lover shows how sex, violence, society and aesthetics, which are all human experiences, impact and change can make us fear public worlds and occasionally human emotion. Commodus in Gladiator makes himself seem very strong, even though he is a child-minded and soft man. His experience with loss and the need for power severely damage his private and public lives. Public worlds make people push their emotional boundaries and commit horrible personal sins just to save their own private and public worlds. The diversity in this collection of texts is clearly shown and highlights the human experiences which intertwine with public and private worlds. Thank you.